the SM Media Podcast Network. Hi folks, and welcome to our latest episode of the SM Media East of Scotland Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It is always a delight to be your host, and it's that time of year again. We are here with our 2025-26 season prediction shows. This year is going to be a bit different because, as of recording, we're not 100% on what's happening in terms of the league structure. I don't think anybody is, but just go with us, okay? We'll see what happens during the show and during the season, okay? To join me on this episode to give our thoughts and predictions for the season ahead, we've got an all-star panel, really good panel for this show, and we're going to put our opinions to the test. Both sides are represented in the first division, so it'll probably be in-depth analysis on that. But obviously both guys will give their expert opinion on their respective sides that they represent. First of all, it is a pleasure to welcome back onto the show. You might have seen him on social media. Does really good stuff on social media and has been on the channel a couple of times and been really good on here. It's Grant McKenzie.
Thanks, Scott, and thanks for having me on the show. Pleasure to be here.
Absolute pleasure. Really good to have you back on. And representing East House is Lily. It is a pleasure to welcome onto the show, making his return, Stephen Ferguson.
Scott, nice to meet you again. Nice to see you again, bud.
It's really good. I'm looking forward to doing this. Right, does anybody want to have a stab here at what's happening? Because I don't know. Stephen, you're kind of the guy. You're kind of my go-to guy for wee things. I think you were the first guy I messaged when this was all coming about. Like, how's this going to work? And I'm kind of putting you in the spot a wee bit here.
No got a clue, mate.
I don't think anybody does.
I've no got a clue. I've no got a clue. Probably the best person to ask I tell you, just maybe try and get on is the boy Tom Thornton down at Haddington. He's the oracle of East of Scotland football. He knows everything that's ever happened in East of Scotland football. He would probably be your best bet. But I've not got a clue. Us at East we've not got a clue at all, mate. No got a clue.
We've all been told different things. What I've been told is, and what we're kind of going on in tonight's show is, we're going to pick a top four for each division because we are under the impression that four from each division are going up. So we're going to do that. We have been told there's possibility of relegation. That isn't concrete, so I'm not going to just start an argument with people for the sake of it by putting them down when they might not be going down. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the four divisions and we're going to pick a top four that we think are going to go up and one to follow who might not be promotion but might have a better season than they did last season, might be a team that are improving. I'm not going to include East House's Lily and Bathgate in my top four in the first division because I know for a fact both of you will say about your respective clubs. Okay, not that I'm saying they're going to do, not that I'm saying that they're not going to go up. It's just it's better to hear from you guys than me about what you think about them. Right, Grant, we'll start with you first before we get into our predictions. Mm-hmm. It's quite a unique season this year, isn't it?
Absolutely. You've set the scene brilliantly there. I think all we can do is focus on the football. That's everyone, all the clubs going into the start of this season. It's the same every year. You go in with a huge amount of optimism, and we've signed, I'm not going to just talk too much about Bathgate at this point, but we've signed 11 new players. So we've had a bit of an overhaul. Gordon and his coaching team have brought in 11 really exciting prospects, a bit of experience and a lot of young players too, or players that are in the kind of younger part of their career, early 20s, mid-20s. So, but we're going into again, a little bit of the unknown in the first division. And I guess Stephen will say the same about East Houses. There's a lot of comparison between both sides. I think both sides are relatively the same standard. And the first division looks a very, for me, I'm just having a wee look at the final league. Know that always counts, the final league standings for last season, to give us a flavour of what I thought. And do you know, when I look at all the leagues, there's sometimes very little to pick between each of the sides, and a lot will depend upon whether some teams have had cash injections from wherever, or whether they get off to a good start and they build a bit of momentum. And I said last year that, you know, Bathgate in particular picked up momentum from the season, but I sat and said, and Gordon had a good-natured dig at me down at the first game at Innerleithen last year. Here's Mr. Consolidation coming. So we'll get that one out of the way right away. Because if you remember, I said that mid-table would be a satisfactory, outcome for Bathgate last season. Well, we more than achieved that. And a lot of that was based on the away form. There was a stutter towards the end of the season, but we got over the line. It was a really competitive league, that second division. And it will be again this year. As I said, I wrote down all the teams, and I thought to myself, what do I really think here? Obviously, I've got better knowledge of maybe the second and third division than I do of the first and the Premier Division, but I'm writing them down thinking this could end up in any positions, really. And that's what's the beauty of East of Scotland football, I think it's always kind of been like that. There's always some teams that run away with things, but there's so many teams that can take points off each other, and I don't know how Stephen feels about that as well. But I really would be difficult to predict with any real clarity who the top four could be. I can give a stab at it, but in other divisions as we will. But it's very, very difficult.
And Stephen, that's the thing. Obviously, with the way the league systems have went now, and I thought last season was a first real example of how even most of the leagues are. Like, you look at the kind of way the leagues have went. Like, just looking, for example, in the Premier Division, there was only 6 points between 4th and 11th, which shows you how tight that was. First Division, again, you were looking at 8th to 14th. There was only 7 points of a difference between them. You both know how tight that kind of race was in the second division for promotion. Like, it went to the wire. Same with relegation, and third division promotion went to the final day. So the leagues are now really, really tight. And again, it represents what we're going to establish over the course of the show. 4 competitive divisions we're going to talk about, and it again means every week's there's going to be results coming from nowhere.
Yeah, that's summed up perfectly, Scott. It's definitely this is where the league should be now. I think all the teams are in the leagues they should be in, give or take 1 or 2. But especially the Premier Division, I think that's the strongest the Premier Division's been since the likes of Botherwig, Lithgate, and Broxburn have left. I think this is the strongest it's been, and especially the Premier. The Premier this year is stacked. It's that will be our league will be good also. But I do think the Premier League will be the cherry on the top of East of Scotland football this year. The Premier, there's so many big teams in the Premier now. Bo'ness, Camelon, Newton Grange going up. Then you've also got still got Musselburgh, Hillybeath, Haddington, Dunbar, Durry Pace, Whitburn. It goes on and on and on. All your big guns are now in that in the right league. You look in our league. There's again there's some really big teams in that league. Crossgates, Kirkcaldy, Leith, Blackburn, Armadale, us ourselves. So I think all the leagues are now balanced out. I think that this year East of Scotland football will be tip top, I think.
Right, I'm going to give a stab at this just because, again, we don't know. Right, we know obviously that the Lowland League's getting split into 2 teams. I tried to do this in the West show last night, and even during it, I was like, I'm bored myself explaining this. I'm going to try. All right. As it stands at the moment, what I'm led to believe is there's going to be either 17 teams in the Lowland League East or 18. It depends what happens in the Midlands League. If Lockheed United or Tayport get in, I think another space becomes available. Don't quote me on it. That's what I've been told. Go with that, okay? What we know for definite at the moment is 4 teams for the East of Scotland Premier are going up to the Lowland League East, okay?
4 teams for the Premier.
That seems to be the talk. That obviously means there's 4 spaces below. That means four teams will go up. There's been mention of relegation. We don't know. We're just going to go.
I take it that will only be 4 teams with an SFA licence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that again is the issue here. Like I think there's 3 teams in the Premier Division now that don't have a licence. I think is the
I think you'd be right there.
Teams I know for last season don't. I don't know if Camelin are going for theirs.
Camelin's
got theirs. So right, Camelin, Bowness and Newton Grange have all got theirs. Right, okay. So the teams that don't have it at the moment, I think, are Whitburn, Luncarty and Glenrothes. As far as I'm led to believe, they don't have it. I don't know if they're getting it. Somebody can correct us if they do.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
So that would leave, there's going to be 4 spaces available. So the likes of Berwick, Bowness United, Bonnyrigg, Broxburn, Brecon, Civil Service, Cowdenbeath, East Stirling, Gala, Linlithgow, Trinent, Stirling Uni, and Heartsby are going to be in the Lowland League East. I think it only becomes another issue if one of those teams go up. So like Trinent win the Lowland, and that would leave another space. So we don't know how that's going to work. But we are going off the thinking that there's going to be 4 teams from each division going up and no relegation. Okay? Even if there was relegation, I don't know if we'd be doing it because I don't want to single one team out as being the bottom of the pile. Okay? I picked Haddington to go down last year and look how well they did. So exactly. So there's definitely some things to work out. Again, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to pick a top 4 from each division. We will start with the Premier Division. Okay, I'm going to go to Stephen first for his top 4 in the Premier Division. Give us a reason why, okay, for your 4 teams. And then after that, one team that you think might not be promotion contenders, but could have a good season.
Okay, my top 4. Winning the league, Musselburgh.
Okay.
I will have Camelin.
Okay.
I'll have Hillybeath.
Okay.
And number Haddington. Top 4.
Okay. Any particular reason with those 4 sides that you're going with them?
Musselburgh's got even stronger. I didn't think it was possible. Genuinely didn't think it was possible. He's recruited really well. Musselburgh to win the league again. Hillybeath, again, Bobby's recruited really well also. So I can't see them dropping off. They only lost the league. It was 6 points or something like that. Haddington's recruitment this year has been brilliant. I know Scott personally, and he's been after Ryan Cameron for 3 seasons now. And now he's went and signed goals on Ryan Cameron. The young boy just signed Connor Elliott and all too. He played under 20s football last year for Bonnyrigg, and he scored something like 57 goals. He's an absolute machine, goal scoring machine. So he's went and got goals. He's kept the boys and all too. He's added experience in Liam O'Donnell. He's brought 4 or 5 boys in from Tynecastle. Boy Lewis Walker from Whitehill, Leno. He's a great player. So he's added some really good players. I know he's working on one more, but he wouldn't tell me who it was. He's brought in boys for a boy for Heriot Watt, a centre half for Heriot Watt. So he's done really, really well in the summer. And my other one was Camelin. Just due to the fact that Camelin won the league last year. They won the division that East House is in, Bathgate are now in. They won it kind of comfy, and they went and recruited really well. The boy Ben Scarborough from Bonnyrigg, and there's one of the boys from Berwick, I know.
Signed Jack Bain for St Cadoc's, I think. He's a signing I like to look of.
If you obviously West of Scotland a bit more than me, but they've done really well. So that's my top 4. They want to have a very good season. I'll go Whitburn.
Okay.
I'll go Whitburn. Whitburn, they're there about. I know it's a new manager coming in and that, but I think they will have they're a very strong team. They're very good at home. it's a hostile place to go. I don't know if Grant's been there or not, but it's a hard place to go. The fans like to get on your back, and it's you're made welcome anyway. So it's a hard place to go. So again, they've managed to keep Ross Crawford and all too, which is absolute, which is more goals there and all too. So yeah, I'll go the team to look out for by Whitburn.
Okay, so Musselburgh, Camelin, Hillabeath and Haddington for top four for Stephen, Whitburn for one to follow for him. Grant, what about yourself? Your top four and your one to follow in the East of Scotland Premier Division, please.
Yeah, this is incredibly difficult, and there's going to be a lot of similarities here. I can't see beyond Musselburgh again for the reasons that Stephen articulated there. They have gone out and recruited. If that were possible, they had an outstanding team last year. Very unlucky to lose that playoff to Clydebank, I think. Mm-hmm. And again, Clydebank, a good side going into the lowland. So I think they'll have a good season. I also think Hillabeath will also continue their progress. Difficult to see beyond them as the top two. But then for me, you've got a number of teams that could do really well. And a lot depends upon the start they get. And I said earlier about momentum. I think Haddington will also they'd probably be my third pick.
Okay.
And I've written Genefield Swifts down here as well, given their high place finish. But I would say there's any number of teams, Camelin or Dunbar. I'm going to go with Dunbar because I think, again, they had a fairly high place finish last year, progressive club. And my team to watch is the same. I was going to say Bo'ness, and it was a very hard choice between Whitburn and Bo'ness, but I'll go with Whitburn because, again, Stevens makes that point. We played there in a friendly, and it was just a pre-season game a week past Saturday, and they turned us over big time. And your man Crawford is an extremely difficult customer at 6'6" to deal with aerially, and our most experienced centre-half was on holiday. So we had a young boy who made his debut in that game, and the step up for him on that day, he's got a huge amount of potential, the young lad, but it was very, very difficult, and no one knew who was picking up the big man. So I felt we lost 5-0, not necessarily representative of how games have been between Whitburn and Bathgate in the most recent past when we played them in bounce games, but we've got a good relationship with them. We've taken a young boy on loan from them, a boy called Chris Hughes, young winger. He actually scored 2 goals in that game. But Whitburn for me have continued an upward trajectory for a number of years now, and I would say they would be the team to watch. Bo'ness won't be far behind them though.
Okay, interesting. One that we all agree on. I don't see a position where Musselburgh don't finish in the top 4. As Stephen said, they were great last season and they've got stronger. Like bringing in Sean Brown and Rhys Caves, I think, are 2 good additions, and they're extremely well coached as well. Like that's one of the things as well. I was speaking to a lot of people at Clydebank, and they said like it's really tough to see a world where Musselburgh don't go up because they're good. Do you know what I mean? They're good enough to play in the Lowland League, and I think they will next season. Hillabeath, I think, could have a strong season. I have written this 6 or 7 times, and I've noted the same 4. There's a lot of different sides. One side that I'm surprised hasn't been mentioned. I'm not saying. I'm wondering if that's maybe like because like what's been happening, but St Andrews United's recruitment's been very good.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I think they're an absolute stick on for top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think their business has been good. Greg Spence with Cowdenbeath, Jason Thompson experience as well.
Jason Thompson, did they not get a goal or not? I
think they could have. Yeah, they signed Lewis Milne for Stirling as well. I know that.
They got an experienced goalie.
I've actually got their signings here. Just give me a second, I'll get them. So St Andrews over the summer I went way by. So St Andrews have brought in as follows. So their signings have been Alan Fleming for East Fife, Lewis Milne, Joe Aitken, Jacob Shingle and Luke Murray. They're all from Edinburgh Uni. David Maskery from Gala, Jason Thompson from Kelty and Greg Spence from Cowdenbeath. I think it's Alan Fleming you're thinking about.
Alan Fleming, aye.
Right. So
played by like the likes of Dunbar and Elgin and all that. Again, that's an experienced goalkeeper.
I think an excellent
That's
recruitment
that.
over the summer as well.
To be fair, I never knew they signed Jason Thompson and that. Not that's
Yeah.
I thought he'd retired. He'd actually
I
retired.
think he maybe had retired. Yeah, I think he's back. But
Aye.
like they're a team, obviously. Like, and again, like just bringing in players like that, I think will help them kick on. Hillaby, Gene Field, Whitburn, I think could do well. Bowness, I think could do well. I'm really torn between my two. I keep turning it round because I've got them in the back of this sheet. I think Bowness and Hillaby are my top four to go with St Andrews and Musselburgh. But I wouldn't put MD off Whitburn as well. I think they're a good chance. And my team to watch are actually Dunnipace, because I think they're really well coached. I think they've recruited well over the summer. Sean Heaver and Conor McKenzie coming in from Bowness Athletic, and Alan Docherty for Beath, who I know pretty well, is a really good addition. I think they're extremely well coached. I think Dunnipace are my team to watch, and I'm going to go top four: Musselburgh, St Andrews, Bowness, and Hill of Beath. SM Media's East of Scotland Football League coverage is proudly sponsored by Appin Sports. Want your team to stand out next season? Then Appin Sports are here to help. Their online kit designer lets you create your dream custom teamwear in your club's colours and with your club crest, sponsor logos, player names and numbers. Design yourself or work with their expert design team to bring your vision to life. Every order of custom teamwear also secures your place in their online club shop, making reordering effortless and giving supporters a place to get your amazing gear too. Get started on giving your team a stunning new look and head to appinsports.com to make your team's 2025-26 kits unforgettable. Thank you very much to our sponsors at Appin Sports, providing us support over the next coming campaign in the East of Scotland coverage. So thank you very much to them, and as I say, follow their message below. Right, let's move into the first division. Before we get into our top four, we've got some expert analysis here in both two sides in the division. Let's start first of all with Stephen on East House's Lily. Finished ahead of Bathgate in the league. I don't imagine that'll be some 2 points ahead, but you've both obviously managed to clinch promotion. How have East House's business been over the summer, and what's the kind of expectations going into the season?
Good, mate. Good. We've had a good summer. Signed some Clanton players, and we've managed to keep some Clanton players on there. We've signed Kieran Magaki from Botherlig.
Yep.
Massive signing. Big player for us. He'll be massive for us this season. We've signed Dale Cornett from Pennycook. We have signed Aaron Jones from Tweedmouth Rangers. Test it, mate. We have signed Brodie Ritchie from Haddington on loan. I think I'm sure there's another.
John McManus, Dean Beveridge. There you come in.
Aye, that's the one. Dean Beveridge from Edinburgh City, and John McManus from Arneson. Experience and youth. Experience at the back is what we needed. We were kind of young at the back last year. But then we had good centre halves, but we just needed that experienced leader to come in, basically pull the reins on the young boys, tell the young boys where to be and when to go and press and when not to press. We've brought that in. Jono's been around the game for years. Newton Grange, Musselburgh and Arneson. So we've done really well. Over there, we've lost a few boys. A couple of boys that just retired and just gave up. So we lost Big Jack Murray for centre half, and we lost Stephen Hay. The goalie. Who else we've lost? We have Murray Gilfillan has went to London Hotspur, and somebody else I know. Also, Tom Angus has went to New York Red Bulls.
Yes, I did see that.
So Tom's went to New York Red Bulls. He's away to do a scholarship with them, which is massive for Tom. He worked. Game time is very, very limited last season. I think his last game for us was against Bathgate, the 3-0 game. Was it 3-0 or 4-0? Was it 3-0 or 4-0 with us?
Yeah, aye, 3-0.
3-0. So I'm not. I can't get the score there. 3-0. So yeah, that was his last game for us. So yeah, the business has done well. We've had a good pre-season. We've only had 3 games throughout pre-season. We have had a 4-3 win against Arneson up at Arneson, a 5-all draw by the Daily Leithen, and a 6-0 win of against Tweedmouth on Saturday past. We had 2 games cancelled because we couldn't get this time of year. You grant you know yourself the amount of time boys are away on holidays or long weekends, or they have weddings, or they're working, or they're trying to work before the season starts. We had 2 games cancelled. It was one against Burnt Island and one against Newton Grange. So yeah, we've had to cancel their games. So we've only had 3 games. But the boys who have been available, they've still trained. We've still trained Tuesday, Thursdays. So yeah, we're looking good. We've told the boys that our aspiration is to be in that top 4 come the end of May next year. We've done it once. I think Grant will think themselves. We'll think the same. We've done it once. For their instance, they've done it twice. We've done it twice. Why can they not do it a third time? And for us, we've done it once. Why can we not go and do it again? So there's nothing stopping us in the league. There will be strong teams in the league. The likes of Crossgates, Kirkcaldy, Leith, Blackburn. There's Armadale, Bathgate. The whole lot of teams, strong teams in the league. Be a tough league, but our aspirations is to be in that top 4, whether it's the first position or the 4th position. I'm not really that bothered as long as we get in that top 4.
Grant, obviously yourself with Bathgate as well, back-to-back promotions the past couple of years. What's Gordon's thoughts? What's the club's thoughts of how this season's going to go?
Well, Gordon's always got his eye on a player, and it's not just Gordon; it's his coaching staff as well. There's a number of players have come in from the Easterhouse Academy that Jim Smith was kind of involved in. He's his goalkeeping coach. A lot of youth coming in this time. We've had a bit of as I mentioned at the top of the show, we've had a bit of a turnaround because we lost through the time. Stephen talks about players retiring there. Our goalkeeper Craig Saunders and our centre half Ryan McGill. Both retired. Young right back Kyle Mooney has immigrated to Australia. So there was kind of 3 players straight away that we lost at the end of the season. 1 or 2 others kind of drifted away as well, just through the natural order of things. But we've recruited really well. I mean, experience-wise, we brought a good keeper in an Alex McMahon from Heriot Watt. Alex is about 27, 28, big stature. Certainly fills the goals, comes out, commands his box, has been quite impressive in the pre-season games. And we've got young Cody Thompson, who was with Bowness under-20s. This is his 2nd season with us, and he's going to learn a lot from working with Alex, as he did with Craig. The marquee signing is probably Andy Forbes from Pennycook. Very, a Scottish semi-professional player, 250 games plus for Pennycook, really steady centre half, and he's missed the last 2 or 3 games, and he's been sorely missed, I have to say. So we brought him in. Other notable additions that I've been really quite impressed with: Aaron Whitelaw from Dunnipace, who is a very versatile player. Plays in he's a full-back principally, I think, or he's a wing-back principally. Can play on both sides of the park and attacks really well. So he's actually played 4 different positions in 4 different games so far. He's looked good. We've got a young lad, Ethan Hemmings, who has been playing in America. I'm not sure where, but he's had a scholarship in America, has come back to Scotland. He's very, very young, 18, 19, blistering pace. And I think that's going to give us an advantage because that's something that we need, something all teams need, but something that you need in forward positions in particular. So there's been key additions throughout the team, 11 new signings in total. I'm not going to list them all, but they're all going to, make an issue. But I think for Bathgate, a lot will depend on the start, and we've got a tough start at Crossgates on Saturday.
Yeah.
Which we played pre-season there last year, so we got a flavour of that, and that was a really tight game. Nothing between the sides, so we don't know how that goes. Then we've got Leith at home, then Luncarty at home on the 2nd of August. So we've got 2 home games to follow that. But then again, I said last year, we would start well. We lost at home to Oakley, we lost at home to Burnt Island Shipyard, and then went to Pennycook and won in the South East Regional Cup on penalties, which was the big turning point for us. And I think the team believed in that game that they could take the game to their opponents and match Premier Division opponents. And that set the kind of tone for a lot of the games against higher opposition last year, which the boys will have learnt from. Our aspiration, clearly, as with Stephen and Dave McQueenie, would definitely want to finish in the top 4. Gordon, as you know, was a player at East Houses as well.
Yes.
And obviously has a really good relationship with Dave. And I think, if we had a choice, we'd like us both to be in the top 4. Whether that's possible or not, it remains to be seen. But momentum, as I've kept saying, we when Gordon took over, I could not have, January 23, a point or 2 points off the bottom in the 3rd division. Could I be said I'd be sitting numbers but no. But incredible on a small budget, but with a happy club. And I think that's a key thing for a lot of people. I get the same impression with East Houses too. It's a good club to be involved with. Certainly very hospitable whenever we go there. And there was a couple of strange results with us last year. We went down and scored 5 goals in a midweek game at the start of last season, and then you scored the 3 goals at the Creamery and the Groundhog. So I would say both. If you want to just jump to that, Scott, about the top 4. Again, I've written about 6 teams down here, but East Houses are one of them.
Okay. Do you want to go first? On you go. The top 4 and your one to follow.
So for me, Heriot Walk, Crossgates, East Houses, and obviously, I should say Bathgate, but I'm too modest to do so. I'll say maybe we're the team to follow, because I think Armadale have got the resources.
Okay.
Again, they've got a huge amount of momentum and a lot of the community invested in the club. Edinburgh Uni could also be another one, and Kirkcaldy, that could do well. I reckon there's 6 or 7 teams, Edinburgh South as well, with a good finish last season from where they were the previous season, even Thornton Hibs, and Blackburn. So we could be picking anything out of a hat here, but I'm going to go with these as my 4, and Bathgate is the team to watch.
Okay. Stephen, your turn, top 4 and your team to follow, please.
Top 4. I'll go Armadale, just because Coco's done really well there. He's signed some really good players. In my personal opinion, he took Bathgate's best player in Lennon Smith.
Yeah.
Lennon was brilliant against us. Really, really good, really good player. And he's went there, so I'd take Armadale, Crossgates. Again, Crossgates have signed well on all 2. And Scott Hingback, Chris Gaff, who was at Edinburgh
College.
And Beno too, Brandon Bain. I know Beno personally. They've signed really well. So I'll go them, Crossgates, Armadale, Kirkcaldy and Dysart.
Okay.
And up at us.
Okay.
Up there, but just due to the fact that we've signed really well, we've got the experience in that, and I back us to be up there. Okay. And a team to watch this year, Leith Athletic.
Okay.
Just due to the fact they have had they've got Stevie Friedman's came in there, and he's signed some very, very good players. Players that have been under the radar, and he's done really, really well. He's recruited well. His hands are tied in there. He's managed to keep the likes of Sonny Swanson. He's managed to keep Kane Patterson, and he's added more goals round him. He's added some good players who have been playing amateur football, but should never have been playing amateur football.
Yeah.
And he's brought them up, and he's signed some very, very good players. My ones to watch this year are Leith Athletic.
Okay, I had Leith Athletic in my radar for that. I'm going to go for Blackburn as my team to watch. I think they could have a quietly good season. I think signing Harry Brash for Pumferson, I think it's a good signing.
Yep.
I think they're a side I could see kicking on. Top four, I'm with you on Armadale and Crossgates. I think Armadale have got the resources to kick on. I do think both your teams will do well, but I'm not going to pick them just because you are here. I'm quite happy in the end of the season.
Scott.
I'm quite happy at the end of the season to come back on and you've both been promoted and eat my words. But I do think you will do well. I do think you will be challenging. I do think there's two really good coaches. Again, I think recruitment's quite important as well. Armadale and Crossgates are my two stick-ons. A few teams really I'm interested in. Kirkcaldy and Dysart I think could do pretty well. I'm definitely fancying Preston to have a good season.
I
think Nicky Reid for Musselburgh is a really good sign. I think that's probably one of the best signings of the whole East over the summer.
There's a boy who's signed in there, right? That will be, if he's there past December, they'll be doing well. The boy Jake Cunningham, centre half for Spartans.
Yeah,
this boy's a player. He's a serious player. I tried to sign him at East last season on loan for Spartans, and Spartans said no. And he ended up playing like 6 or 7, starting 6 or 7 games for Spartans first team last year. I don't know how Steve's managed to get that done there, but that's a cracking signing. If they can keep him past December, they're doing well. Because he'll go places. He's a very, very, very good player.
I'm Preston and Kirkcaldy are my two teams to watch. Top four: Armadale, Crossgates, Preston, and Kirkcaldy, and Dysart, and keep an eye on Blackburn. Thornton Hibs, I think, could have a good season as well. Into the second division, obviously very interesting. Both your teams came out of it last season. Stephen, I'll come to you first. Top four and a team to follow, please.
They didn't win the league by December. I'll be very, very surprised. Harthill Royal.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
The question is, though, can it last? That is a question when you have a project like that. It's the same with every other project. Can it last?
But if that lasts, they should win that by December. Easily. Greg Wild, Gary Brass,
Eddie
Josh. That's the boy for...
He was at Gartcairn.
I
don't think he's been playing.
You obviously know yourself. He's meant to be really, really good.
Right. When he's on it, yeah, definitely.
And then Josh Gillespie for Armadale.
Yeah.
If they've not got that wrapped up by January time, there's something wrong with it. I'll take Harthill to win it. Oh, hard. Linton Hotspur, definitely. They've recruited really well.
And they've done really well, yeah.
They signed Robbie
Rennick.
They signed Robbie Rennick from Peebles. Very good player. Robbie's a very, very good player. I'll take them. I'll have Gelly to be up there. And West Calder.
Okay.
West Calder again. They've recruited well. I know too. They signed Edinburgh. What I thought was Edinburgh College's best player last year, Owen Main. They signed Owen Main, and they've obviously lost Jamie McAllister to Bonus Athletic. They've obviously lost him. That he was their talisman, as Grant will tell you.
He was.
But to keep Jerry and to add Owen, I don't know what the rest of their centre forwards are going to be like, but to have Owen and Jerry, that's decent. Like. So I'll go with them. And team to watch, Falthouse.
Okay.
Team to watch. Did Xander Murray stay on?
Still there. As far as I know, he's still there.
Shouldn't be playing at that level.
No.
should be playing Premier League or Golden League football easily.
Yeah, definitely.
Shouldn't be playing at that level, but team to watch, focus.
Okay. Grant, what were your top 4 and 1 to follow in the second division?
Well, like Stephen says, it's difficult to see beyond Harthill squishing that league, but sometimes these things don't happen, and it is a project, and we have to see, hopefully it doesn't last till October and, someone pulls their money out or whatever. But I think it looks like a long-term thing. I would say they'll be there. West Calder will definitely be there based on, again, Owen Main being a terrific signing for them as well to replace effectively Jamie McAllister. And it was always a tough place to go and get a result. The other teams that I think interesting, and I thought Dalkeith, if you remember, I tipped them last year to do quite well, and it didn't quite happen. But towards the end of the season, they picked out some great results, including a win against us at the Creamery. They won against they beat West Calder twice, and I think they were gaining a bit of momentum just as that was happening. And I also think we've mentioned them here. I think Oakley will do well. Again, they've got Harthill's ex-manager there. Look, a really organised unit. I think they possibly do well. But I think it's interesting that Stephen picked up on Linton because I really like their setup. And I think that first season in the third division was always going to be hard for them when they basically had maybe what they would consider a good amateur side. But again, they've shown that with wise recruitment and just phasing 1 or 2 players out, bringing 1 or 2 in, allied to a little bit of backing from the local community. And local communities are so important in getting behind sides. And I can't stress enough of that. We've so many good examples across the divisions. So I think they're worth watching, but also Lochgelly are worth watching. Again, we played them 2 years ago, and they were down near the bottom of the third division. But again, there's been an almighty turnaround there. So my top 4, Harthill, West Calder, Oakley, Dalkeith, and I'm just going to say Linton as a team to watch for that league.
I think Harthill are absolute. Again, it is just, is it going to last? Is it longevity? There's a lot of big names in there. Do they all click? I think Gary Brass coming in as well. You mentioned about players playing way below the level. Like I was third top goal scorer in the Lowland League last season. Like, it's crazy what's going on. Greg Wild going in there as well. It is just, is it sustainable? We'll see over the next few weeks. I'd imagine it is. I'd imagine there's a lot of players in there who see an eye in the next few years, so hopefully they are able to keep it going. I think West Calder have recruited really well. I think Harthill and West Calder will be top 2. I think I'm pretty sure of that. I can see Arniston bouncing back. I think they were unlucky last season. I think they could do well. Really good coach. I think Phil's really due a turn of luck in there as well. So hopefully they do get a wee turn. And my 4th are going to be Lochgelly. I think they could have a good season as well. I think they're a side who can just bounce up. Again, like even Scott Russell, keeping the likes of Scott Russell. Kept most of the squad for last season. And that is just the strength that they have. I can see them kicking on. My side to follow were Faulthouse as well.
Yeah.
I think they are, against Xander Murray. I think they're well coached. I think Ian's done a good job in there as well. I didn't fancy them last season, even when it got to the kind of real tough stage of the season. I thought they were maybe kind of third or fourth favourites for that third spot. And then they just went on a massive run, helped by obviously Xander coming in. And I think they will do well. And I think they could fly under the radar. On to the third division, the final league before we wrap up. Looking at the sides, 11 teams, obviously newcomers in Cowdenbeath Central. Some old names in there as well. Some teams that are looking to really bounce back after a tough couple of years. Stephen, I'll come to you first. Your top 4 and your 1 to follow for the third division, please.
Top 4. Edinburgh United to win it.
Okay.
Signed some really good players. And they've had some very good results over pre-season. Very good results. I'll put the Vale.
Okay.
I'll have Hoyk. And I'll have Tweedmouth.
Okay.
One to watch, Cowdenbeath.
Yep. I'll agree with that. Grant, with yourself, top 4 and 1 to follow, please.
It'd be interesting. I mean, I'm not picking Cowdenbeath as a team to watch, but I can see why Stephen's done that. It'll be very interesting to see how they settle into life, a bit like Linton, a couple of seasons back. Edinburgh United seem, as Stephen alluded to, the recruitment there has been really good. And I do think that Vela Leithen have to arrest their decline at some point.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
finds towards the end of last season that they were doing that, which was included a terrific win for them at the Creamery towards the back end of the season. So there's my top two. But again, the rest of it's difficult. Stonyburn have been pushing up that league slowly. And I think this might be the year they get promotion. And to be honest, Hoyk must be looking at it the same way.
Yeah.
But Liv United will have a bit of a dip. So I'm going to go with Edinburgh United, the Vale, Stonyburn and Hoyk. And the team to watch, I think, probably Livy. If they can get the right blend in. They were certainly much improved last year from where they were. Although, again, they played a huge number of pre-season games and probably still playing them. I think we were playing something like 11 or 12 games with a view to try and attract as best a squad as they can. So I saw the method in the madness, but again, I think you've got to train as well. So difficult one, but that's a hard league to get out of.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think, 2 seasons ago, when Gordon had his first full season in it, we looked at it and thought we have to take care of all these games and we can't underestimate anyone. And it was kind of the attitude and getting the results, building the momentum. But there was a lot of games that could have gone either way. So, do you know that it's like there's nothing between the third and the second at times? But the first and the Premier just seems a wee bit higher standard. And I think for both East Houses and Bathgate, a lot will depend on the starts that they both have, respectively. But I think every team can take points off everyone else.
Okay. The reason why I went with Tweedmouth is just on they have signed 2 boys on loan from Haddington.
Mm-hmm.
And these 2 boys probably shouldn't be playing in that league.
No.
Boy Alex McNaughton and Kelvin Woodcock, very, very, very good players. Again, just Alex got Young Player of the Year at Haddington last year, and Kelvin had something like 8 or 9 starts for the first team, and done really, really well. And they went down there for the full season on loan. So and they've obviously signed one of my goalies. So he's gone down there to get proper experience playing week in, week out. So they'll do it. And they'll do well. But the reason why I put the Vale in, keeping Kyle Mitchell, that's massive.
And scoring 5 against your goalies as well.
Yeah, you keep him.
He scored. We played them in a friendly, and we were 2-0 down. 2-0 down. 2-0 down. 2-0 down after like 15, 16 minutes. They came out the traps and done really well. Then we go back to 4-2. They changed things, and then we ended up. They've signed a new boy, Sayat or something like that. Quick, extremely quick. 2 balls over the top, and he's took it round Aaron Jones. He's done really well. But keeping Kyle Mitchell that's massive. What was it, 28 or 29 goals or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Something last year. He was, again, he probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the lower league, there's a boy, it's Pumpherston as well. And to be fair, Darren's got a hard job there because, again, they've got very little money and a very young team.
Yeah.
But he's got the boy, Craig Russell, with 25 goals last year. He's their main goal scorer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, if you've got a player like that in the ranks, you've always got a chance.
The reason why I went for Killian Beath is purely because of the coaching staff.
Yeah, Peter getting in there.
With Peter going in there, Peter's done an extremely good job at Oakley last year. I thought at one point they were going to be in the top 3 because they had that many games, and they had that blip, but we played them, we played them in the battle or something now.
Yeah.
That's right. And that was that not his last game or the game before?
He got sacked on the Thursday.
It was a strange one.
And we played them on the Friday. We played them on the Saturday, and that team obliterated us. I think we were 5-0 down at half time. But Peter going down there taking all his coaching staff with him, I think they'll be. As I know the newcomers in the league and they'll have to settle in, but I don't think Peter will allow it. And I think that's why they'll finish there or thereabouts.
Certainly good.
Right, my top four are very similar to yours. I've got three that I agree with. Edinburgh United, I think, will do really well. Vale leading, as you said, a lot has to turn at some point. Hoyk, I think, keeping the Fowler boys and Ben, is it Yuandu? Keeping them, like they've kept them. I think they're real primed. And I think I'm going to go with Cowdenbeath to finish fourth. I think they've got enough. I think they've got a really good coaching staff. I don't think Peter's going there like as a 1 year. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't think it's just I think he can see them getting promotion already.
Aye.
I think they'll finish fourth. My team to watch are, I think, Stonyburn. Stonyburn will be fancying themselves for promotion, but I think they're a good side as well. I think it's really tight. That's actually a really hard league to follow. I know there's only 11 teams in it, but there's like 7 or 8 that can easily go up.
Yep.
Like, it's a really tough league, and I think it's really tough to call. It's going to be a very interesting season. We've obviously got a lot of weeks to go before we get to May and our promotion challenges put to the test, and we'll be back in May to put them right and see how we got on. I think we'll go on pretty well because we're pretty much agreeing on a lot of them. Stephen, before we wrap up the show, what are you looking forward to this season? What's going to be the highlight for the East of Scotland? What does it need to do this season to be good to sell the East of Scotland and the viewers?
This season, I don't think. Well, if you look at the Premier League, I don't think there would be a game where you look at it and go, there's no like a big game. There's like a big game every weekend in the Premier League. So you'll have like maybe Armadale, Cayman versus I don't know Newton Grange. That's a big game, and then Musselburgh versus Hillaby even. So the Premier League this year will be the Premier League will be I think will be the league to watch this year. In my eyes, I think that's it at its strongest this year, and I really hope that it lives up to the expectation, and I hope it's nice and tight again. I hope it goes down to the final couple of days, and it's Musselburgh don't run away with it. But I really think that league will be the pinnacle of the East of Scotland next year. I just think there's so many good players, there's so many good coaches, so many good well-run clubs in it nowadays. Big clubs and all too. Teams who have done well in the Scottish Junior Cup, who are now in this league. So yeah, I think next year the league to watch will be the Premier League. That's where the best teams are. So yeah, get along and watch East of Scotland football. Plus it's cheap, £7.
Yeah,
£7.
Why should people want to come and see East of Scotland games this season?
I'm asking myself now, Scott. Yeah, well, again, I think there's a lot of very much agree with what Stephen said. That top division sells itself. You're getting every fixture looks like a top fixture. Mm-hmm. Because, as I said earlier, most of these teams can take points off one another. But I think the first division's the same. But one thing I would say is that for a lot of clubs from the third division upwards, there's definitely been a pathway for youth from under-20 football. We talked about it throughout the course, good amateur players that maybe shouldn't be amateur players in the first place, but they are because of circumstances. And I think the East of Scotland and the level, the quality of coaching and, the recruitment, the thought processes that go into everything make it very worthwhile. And I mean, a lot of folk are disenchanted with Scottish League 1, Scottish League 2 football. I know there's always diehards that follow their team, and I totally respect that. But again, people used to say, well, why do you want to watch the juniors or whatever in the old kind of setup? well, this is exactly what we've just said.
Yeah.
You're looking at quality, you're looking at progressive teams. There's a bit of money getting thrown into it in certain quarters, which make it an attractive prospect for a lot of teams. I think it's just overall going to be a good season. I mean, I think we always feel that sometimes we're the poor relation to the West of Scotland football or the Midland League, the Dundee teams and what have you. They're all good leagues, and there's no doubt about it. And I think people underestimate the next levels down in the pyramid, and I don't think they should.
Yes.
I think there's lots of good things to see, and hopefully we see them in the coming months as the season unfolds.
Well, here's hoping, and it's going to be a really fascinating season. I want to thank our two guests for their predictions and their analysis in this episode. First of all, Stephen Ferguson.
Thank you very much. Not a problem.
Pleasure. Grant McKenzie as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Scott, and nice to speak with you, Stephen.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much, everyone who's tuned in. Thank you to our sponsors, App and Sports, and we will see you all next week for the next episode of the East of Scotland Show.